after 8:30 last night, officers of the Johnson City Police Department and Tennessee Highway Patrol troopers saw a Jeep being driven by a man who was known to have active warrants. Authorities tried to conduct a traffic stop, but the driver of the Jeep was accused of driving away erratically and a pursuit started. Troopers tried to force the Jeep to stop, and when a Johnson City officer approached the vehicle, the TBI says the situation escalated. The TBI reports that for reasons that are still under investigation, the officer fired shots and struck the driver of the Jeep. A passenger in that Jeep was also injured. Both were taken to the hospital for treatment. The TBI stated that no officers were injured during the incident.
An LA County Sheriff's deputy involved in the shooting death of a Lancaster woman who called 911 for help has been fired. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez speaking with community activists and lawyers representing that woman's family, and she joins us now live from Woodland Hills. Christina.
Yeah, this was a case out of Lancaster back in December, and I just got confirmation from the sheriff's department that indeed this man was fired after not following after an investigation. Let me show you what we're talking about. Take a look.
We met with Sheriff Luna on Thursday, and we asked him about accountability, and that's when he told us that he had been fired.
Hey, come out, come out!
Referring to the deputy you see on the right's version of body-worn camera videos from December of last year. Lancaster Station deputies responding to a 911 call from Niani Finlayson, alleging domestic abuse by her boyfriend. The 27-year-old seen here on the video, one hand holding the boyfriend, the other a knife, before she's shot by the deputy, identified as Ty Shelton. The shooting is under investigation. This is the second family Brad Gage represents against the same deputy.
You have Deputy Ty Shelton, who was the accused shooter of Niani Finlayson, who was also accused of having been the person that killed Michael Thomas a couple of years ago.
The 63-year-old shot to death during another domestic violence response in Lancaster, where department officials claim he reached for the deputy's weapon, which his family and community activists dispute.
We know had Ty Shelton, LA County Sheriff's Deputy Ty Shelton, been fired after he murdered Michael Thomas in 2020, Niani would still be here.
If we can get Ty Shelton put in jail, that will be the justice that I'm seeking.
And we're also being told by the Sheriff's Department that the case has been handed over to LA County's DA's office for a legal analysis to determine, quote, whether any criminal charges will be filed and if the shooting was legally justified. We'll keep you updated.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m., bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. You know, I really do appreciate it. We're going to start our day out in Tampa. Sunny Tampa, Florida. A police officer arrested after off-duty argument turned physical. Let's just be glad it wasn't on duty. Okay, a Tampa police officer has been placed on administrative leave after he was arrested for battery domestic violence. Investigators say Cornelius Young was arrested on Wednesday during an off-duty incident in Sun City. Oh no, that ain't gonna play in Sun City, buddy. According to the Tampa Police Department, Young was involved in a verbal argument with a woman he knows, and it turned physical. Police say the victim sustained minor injuries. Oh, he injured her, did he? Not good there, buddy. To say this is a disappointment is an understatement, said Chief Lee Burklaw. Okay, Chief. Our thoughts are with the victim involved. Oh, dang. How serious was this, you guys? We are committed to transparency with our internal investigation. Well, what about with us, the people? We want to know what's going on. The allegations don't represent them, but we don't know. How do we know if it doesn't represent you guys? You won't tell us what he did. Okay, well, this Tampa police officer, which is kind of a bummer, Cornelius Young, we don't see his mugshot. He's obviously the bad apple of his mother's eye. All right. We'll just call him Officer Fisticuffs. That's his new nickname. And then we're going to move on with the show. Folks, every once in a while we get it wrong here on the Bad Apple Report. And we, in the case of this little fella here, this quadriplegic young man from down south in the Florida way, he had us all believing that the cops were the bad guys and that he was the good guy, and that there's no way those cops would have tried to handcuff a guy whose arms wouldn't even reach behind his back. I wasn't making any kind of emotion. This guy is very sensitive about people making fun of him. And I'm not making fun of him, even though I'm very mad at him for misleading us. I mean, I'm not angry or anything like that. I mean, we did get almost 700,000 views off the YouTube short. I mean, thanks a lot, buddy. No, but anyways, let's move on. What we need to know about this guy is he's lucky. Yeah, his mom and dad weren't comedians. You know what I mean? Like George Foreman's parents, like their dad was. All the George Foremans, their dad was named George Foreman. He was a comedian. He was funny. Now, if this young man's parents were like that, he would have been named Art or Matt or maybe even Third Base.
So you take me. Hey, chill. I just hit you again. What the you do about it?
Only on 10 tonight, body camera video showing the arrest of a quadriplegic man accused of ramming officers with his motorized wheelchair. He's a recording artist who lives in southwest Miami-Dade.
Brian Tamasta first told Local 10 that police got it all wrong, but body cam video appears to tell a different story. Local 10's Janine Stanwood is live in Miami with the exclusive. Janine.
Police say it's battery. That quadriplegic man says that's not the case. And now we see the video.
So take me. Hey, chill. I just hit you again. What the you do about it?
For the first time, we are seeing body camera video when Miami-Dade police say they were assaulted by a quadriplegic man. A case so unusual, even the judge at first appearance seems surprised.
I have truly never seen a case like this.
It happened May 1st. Police were called to the southwest Miami-Dade home of Brian Amastha, also known as El Valiente, his stage name when he's performing music. According to the report, Amastha and his mother, seen here in red, were involved in an argument. But when mom is put in handcuffs, this happens.
Nah, bro, don't fucking do that.
Brian,
No,
hey,
man.
stop hitting me with the chair,
man,
Brian.
Stop doing
That's a
that.
battery on a
You
wheel.
just said.
When we interviewed Amastha back then, he told us this.
They claimed that I hit them with my wheelchair.
Did you?
I absolutely did not.
The report stated that you spit at an officer.
Right. So I suffer from acid reflux, so I normally spit. And I spat like the totally different direction.
But this is the video.
You want to listen or not?
Bro.
Amastha also told us he felt humiliated during his arrest.
Are you laughing at me, bro?
Because he was separated from his motorized wheelchair, which he says was damaged when it was put on a flatbed. You see one officer appearing to text someone, joking that they were going to put him on the tow truck.
Yeah, because
Officers later seen inspecting their legs. Amastha charged with 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer.
And we are told that corrections did not have a transport van to transport Amastha with his wheelchair, and that's why officers on scene called fire rescue to take him and called a tow truck to take the chair. We're told that there's another hearing in this case scheduled right here for tomorrow. We're in Miami. I'm Janine Stanwood, Local 10 News.
First-hand video of the controversial arrest. Janine, thanks a lot.
We'll be right back.
Okay, we have another officer here who's proud to serve and protect her community from people just like her. Norwich officer arrested by Waterford police on larceny charge, placed on administrative leave. Okay, she's on leave, probably paid administrative leave too. That's funny. Norwich officer Megan Crawford was arrested after failing to scan multiple items at a Walmart self-checkout and attempting to leave the store, a report said. Dum-dum. Yes, she was, and this was on July 9th, according to officials. Officer Megan Crawford, age 24, young and dumb, of Ledyard, was assigned to the patrol division and has been a member of the police department for 3 years. She's learned to be above the law. She's probably got a big old sleeve tattoo and a black ring and a Punisher sticker on the back of her car. Norwich Police Captain John Perry said he probably has all that stuff too. And we are looking at some real winners here in Norwich. According to Perry, her placement on administrative leave is pending the results of an internal investigation into the Waterford arrest. In a report from Waterford Police Department, police said that they arrived at the Walmart on Waterford Parkway North at 4:12 p.m. on July 9th after receiving a report that a woman was being detained by the store's asset protection for not scanning all the items in her shopping cart at the self-checkout. Oh, the cop is being detained. She was probably squirming. Security footage from the store showed a woman, later identified as Crawford, failed to scan multiple items in her cart, with some concealed inside reusable bags, the report said. She's so clever. According to the report, Crawford paid for some of the items, but failed to pay for about 18 of the items, costing the store $115.22. She allegedly attempted to leave the store, but was then detained by a witness from Asset Protection who was watching the security footage. The witness told police that they ran Crawford's payment card through the store's system and determined that she also failed to scan multiple items at self-checkout during a separate incident on June 14th. Oh, wow, they got your number, folks. Crawford is facing a charge of larceny in the 6th degree and was issued a misdemeanor summons. She was released on a promise to appear and is expected in New London Superior Court July 23rd. Oh no, she's 24 years old. She's going to make a run for it, you guys. You should put an ankle monitor on her. Just kidding. All right, well, she's a bad apple, that's for sure. Okay, this town has a neat little slogan. It's called Stick It and Ticket. That's right. Stick it if you don't want a ticket, because we need your money. And we're going to give you some verbal judo to make sure that you know that we're good to go.
Same meeting, Petersburg Police Chief Matthew Griffey handed out this document showing projected ticket revenue that read, citation expectations are 9 per shift, or 288 citations a month. The chief told the board,
I've written 18 citations in one shift. Mark's written 26 in about a shift and a half.
Chief Griffey told us he aimed to expand police coverage around the clock for the town of just over 500 people.
I'm trying to give the citizens what they've been asking for over 5 years.
It's illegal for law enforcement here in Tennessee to have ticket quotas. Fox 17 News uncovered one town in the mid-state that appeared to be funding a police expansion based solely on ticket revenue. After Fox 17 News investigates, our very own Kelly Avellino found that Petersburg dropped its plan to hire more officers, reverting back to a much lower police budget.
It's a 1 square mile town that voted to go from 2 officers to 5 last year with raises, despite having some serious budget problems. Listen to this Petersburg public meeting from last June.
The past, I think it's 3 years, we have eaten into our cash reserve.
And I'm trying to get officers to here to where they can support their families.
The mayor and board voted to approve the plan that more than doubled the police budget and increased the expected revenue from court fines and costs by more than $217,000. Fox 17 News showed up to the town's traffic court before our first report.
That's all they do is sit right there all the time and radar, and there's just really not much else going on in this town.
I'm going to have almost a $700 ticket.
Kind of like policing for profit, sounds like.
I asked the chief directly if this was a ticket quota, which is against Tennessee state law.
I have never implemented a quota.
How is it not an expectation or a quota if you're basing your budget for the police department on it?
I'm not basing it on that. Like I said, those are just mock numbers.
Right,
They're just projections of what could happen.
What did happen? A Fox 17 News records request shows that Petersburg ticket totals were well under 288 citations a month following our story. And last month, the Petersburg mayor and town board voted to lay off that additional officer they brought on just a couple months after passing the expansion. That also reduced the police budget by some $80,000.
We were told we can't afford to maintain the third officer.
The town also cut the expected revenue from court fines and costs for the 2025 budget significantly.
The chief is not happy, but he understands. He says I do agree that something needs to be done for the betterment of the town to help out financially.
Now, the town of Petersburg sits within 2 different counties, and the sheriff's departments from either of those counties can respond to Petersburg calls if needed.
Well, this is not completely dissimilar from the situation at the beginning of the show where the deputy barged in and immediately went to shoot. And, you know, you have somebody who called the cops for help, and next thing you know, they're helped to heaven. But in this case, it was very egregious and immediate that this guy needed to be arrested, and that's exactly what they did. They arrested this cop, and I don't think they're going to let him out. So Here's the story of this old boy.
Continuing our breaking news, we have just received new information coming in about the deputy accused of shooting and killing 36-year-old Sonia Massey. Here is Fox Illinois' Carson Gordy with what we have just learned. Carson?
This is brand new information from the Sangamon County officials. 2 deputies made contact with the caller, Sonia Massey, at her home. And during the interaction inside her home, Deputy Sean Grayson fired his gun and killed her. The body cam footage does not the press release says that the body cam footage does not support the finding that Grayson was justified to shoot her. Grayson has now been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. His first court date will be tomorrow, and the press release says that the county will try to keep Grayson in jail and deny him pretrial release.
The family of a Springfield woman killed in a deputy-involved shooting watched the body camera video. Quote, "It is extremely hard to imagine how a woman who calls the police out of fear of an intruder ends up shot in the head by the police at her own home," end quote. And more demonstrations started earlier today outside of the NAACP building.
They say there was not a justification for Grayson to shoot and kill Sonia Massey. We dug into Sean Grayson's history. The former Sangamon County deputy fired and is facing charges of first-degree murder for the shooting death of Sonia Massey. The 36-year-old was killed after calling the police to her home. 30 years old, Grayson does have an arrest record stemming from the neighboring Macoupin County. According to online records, this includes DUIs in 2015 and 2016, both of them Class A misdemeanors, and driving on a suspended license. Being a Sangamon County sheriff was not Grayson's first job in law enforcement. GovernmentSalaries.com shows Grayson worked for the Auburn Police Department in 2021 and 2022. On July 17th, the Sangamon County State's Attorney indicted Grayson on multiple counts, including 3 charges of first-degree murder. Currently in custody, the county is looking to keep Grayson in jail throughout his trial. Officials confirm that the other officer who responded to Sonia Massey's call is still on paid administrative leave.
Now, officials tell us her family did view that body camera footage and described it as shocking. They emphasized it's important to give the family time to process before it's released to the public. Over 100 people gathered to show support for the family of Sonia Massey through chants, Sonia Massey! Sonia Massey! Song, and tears.
And it should not be on the black people who are in pain to lead this. Our mental health is suffering.
Initially, the family planned to speak to the crowd, but did not. They need time to process what they saw the night of her shooting death.
The family has expressed to us to be patient, let them process this tragedy. We're more concerned about the family than anything else. Justice will take its due course.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump's office is taking this case. One attorney with the office spoke, preparing the public for release of the video.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was shocking. And it hurts to watch.
Protesters said they will continue to demand justice and show support for the family peacefully. A visitation will be held at 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and the service following that. Grayson now faces 3 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and misconduct. And the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, issuing a statement in response to the announcement of the indictment of Sean Grayson. He says, in part, quote, "My heart breaks for Sonia's children, for her family and friends, and for all who knew and loved her. And I'm enraged that another innocent black woman had her life taken from her at the hands of a police officer."
And that's a wrap. We've made it through another episode, another edition, another installment of the Bad Apple Report. Thanks to you showing up here and you leaving comments, because that's the only reason I do it. I'm only doing it for you. That's right. Everybody else, I have many thousands of subscribers, but I'm only making these videos for you. That's exactly true. Okay, you guys are awesome. I hope you have a great day. And I'm going to whip up another bunch of bad apples for you for tomorrow. And remember, the lesson at today's show is don't call the cops for any reason. Okay? That's my best advice to you. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m., bright and early.